I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and today I'm giving you my brief thoughts on the Wizard of Oz adventure book game, as well as the Princess Bride adventure book game. It's going to be kind of brief thoughts on these because this follows the mold of the Lord of the Rings adventure book game that I've already reviewed from Ravensburger. These are two more IP games using a very similar system that have very minor differences between them. So if you want to see more of a heavier mechanics overview, definitely check out that review. I'll link to it down below. I just had the opportunity to dive into two more of these worlds, and so I wanted to give you my brief thoughts on them. No spoilers or anything like that, although I mean they basically follow the stories of the movies in question, so I guess spoilers in that sense. Anyways, these are adventure book games. The general premise of these games, and I do have these books over here so I can at least show you something. I'm going to show you the first page in each book. I'm not going to do more than that because I don't want to ruin anything for you, although again, they follow the adventures. But let's start off with the Princess Bride. The Princess Bride over here, we have this book and we have this starting chapter. The games are going to go through a variety of, a number of these kind of chapters basically. The goal is to go through the chapter and complete the challenges you have on the side, with each chapter kind of outlining a phase of that story. So if you're familiar with the story of the Wizard of Oz, if you're familiar with the story of the Princess Bride, you're basically going through those stories. And honestly, skipping through the review for a second, I don't think these games are really worth getting unless you already know and like the stories. Meaning there shouldn't really be spoilers here. These are kind of fan service to letting you go through a world that you already hopefully know and like. If you haven't watched The Wizard of Oz, I don't think this is the best game to play. If you haven't watched The Princess Bride, I don't think it's the best game to play. Same with Lord of the Rings. I think these are excellent fan service games to play if you already know them. That said, back to the general rules overview, you're going to have a chapter you're going through that represents the arc in the story. Your goal is to go through multiple of these chapters, completing the challenges as you go. It's a solo or cooperative game, and basically you're going to have various miniatures, various minis that will go on the board in different areas. There's a chapter setup, and then you have specific rules for that chapter, but the basic arc of all of these stories is you start by having a move phase where you can move characters around. Then you can play various cards. There's basically kind of suits of cards, as well as an entirely special deck with extra abilities, and you're playing these different suits both to be able to cash them in to move around the board extra, which can help you get where you need to go, but also these challenges are going to require certain suits as well as certain requirements. So for example, this challenge over here means you have to have 2 or fewer chores on this starting board. There's going to be chores that are on this board and they're going to be popping out each round. If you've played a cooperative game before, generally you do the good thing and then the game does the bad thing. And that arc is true here as well. You get to take actions using your hand of cards in addition to that movement phase, then you get to draw up new cards, as well as engaging with the plot cards, which will define what bad things happen. In this first starting chapter, for example, you're going to be putting chores out on the map, as well as moving characters around in a way that might ruin your plans, because these require characters to be in certain places. Your goal is to stay a little bit ahead of the things that the game is doing to get in your way, in order to accomplish these starting challenges, and then get to the final challenge, which will be how you complete the chapter. Basically, you're going to be picking actions using your hand of cards to move around the board, trade them in for quests, and hopefully complete your challenges before the game gets in the way. There's slightly more to it, but the slightly more to it happens as you go through the chapters, and again, for the sake of, I'm trying to avoid again, there's no real spoilers to the story. You should really be playing these if you know the stories. But even the spoiler of like, well, what scenes are there going to be? What encounters will I have in the Princess Bride over here? And then similarly, same exact thing with Wizard of Oz. I'd have to double check exactly if there are any rules differences, but there's very minor rules differences as far as how things go out. It's usually following basically the same arc. In this case, you're starting off in Kansas, in the spot over here. You're gonna have the various farmhands. You're gonna have Dorothy, and again, you have actually this one has a similar degree of almost chores that you're dealing with, but there in this case they're going to be animal counters, and same arc. You get some free movement, you have to go to various spots on the board, you get to trade cards in, complete various challenges, complete the final challenge, and you complete the chapter. Along the way you'll be unlocking special cards. Special cards have extra abilities in them, and they're going to get shuffled into the deck as an ongoing basis, so you can earn them, not just for right now, but they're going to now be shuffled into the deck that you can benefit from those challenges as you go. In the case of the Princess Bride, there's these like star counters, there's different things like that that are going to be added. Both have special cards, but again, some small differences between the two games. Basically, cooperative game, go through an arc of the specific story in question, accomplish the challenges, and try to outpace the game. As far as review or general thoughts on these games, they're charming. These are charming, fun games. No differently than the Lord of the Rings one, which you can check out my review for that for my full thoughts, but it's going to follow the same general arc. I find all of these games to be charming encounters that allow you to explore a world that you hopefully know and love. Like I already said, I don't think I'd recommend these games if you don't know those worlds. I don't think any of these games are the best mechanical implementation of a game. I think they are light, easy to get into, very accessible. You can play the entire thing in a single night. I mean, you could break it up into multiple chapters if you want, but usually a chapter, depending on the player count, depending on the players, again, they are family friendly, so you could dive into them playing with a bunch of kids, in which case it might take a little longer. But honestly, if you have 2 adults playing it, I'd say it's probably 15 minutes to 20 minutes per chapter, and if you're playing with kids, it's probably 20 to 30 minutes per chapter as you give them a little more room to explore. I've done both. The Lord of the Rings one I did fully with adults, Princess Bride as well, and Wizard of Oz I played with my kids, so I've been able to enjoy these both going through them with, other fellow gamers, as well as playing through them with a family, from a family sense. I have not gone through them solo, so I can't speak to that experience, but it does seem like it would be very solo friendly. The game is mostly open information as far as how you have your hand of cards and what you're doing. It does have the potential problem of potentially having someone lead the game, so to speak, having an alpha gamer who's taking control of the game, who's saying, you do this, you do that. It can have that problem. The good news is I don't think it's super difficult. It is just challenging enough that you will have to be a little bit on top of things to win. Well, not necessarily the first chapters, but as you get through them, there's a little bit of a sense of, okay, we have to actually strategize and hope things don't go poorly. So you can certainly lose, but it's not super subject to alpha gaming because of the fact that there's room for error in the game. Honestly, usually you're going to lose if you're both playing poorly and if the luck goes against you. Or if the luck really goes against you, I could see that happening as well. Depends which chapter you're playing through. Ultimately, I think these are charming experiences. All of them, I think, are charming. I do recommend them. I recommend playing them if you are fans of any of the universes and are open to the fact that they are very much lighter games. If you're looking for a heavier challenge, this is not that. I do think replayability of them is very low because of the fact that the main aspect of the game is the ability to go through it as someone who likes these and just have fun in those worlds. And even the reason I didn't show you the additional chapters is, for me, part of the fun was which section of the story do I get to encounter next. All of these movies, Lord of the Rings for sure, Wizard of Oz, Princess Bride, they all have a lot of different episodes you can engage with, and so which specific aspect of that story do you get to? That to me is part of the fun of the adventure. But that does mean that replaying them isn't for me. I have no interest in going through any of these worlds again because the gameplay is definitely on the lighter side and I've already had the opportunity to kind of go through that living through the adventure arc. So to me, I think they're great games to play and then to gift or sell or trade or whatever it is you want to do with them after. They're not high on the replayability scale for me. Rating-wise, I'm going to be coming in on both of these at a 3.5 out of 5. I've had fun going through them. I've played through the entire arcs. They are super easy to go through, and they make for a great kind of one-night kind of game. If you've played games like the Exit series or the Unlock series, a game that gives you kind of like here's something to do as an evening activity, I think these do that. Granted, they do it at a slightly higher price point than an Exit or Unlock game, but again, of course, you can go ahead and gift them, trade them, whatever it is you want to do, or alternatively, if you are someone who finds it engaging enough, maybe you will want to replay them, either, a week later or maybe a few years later. That might come down to your personal level of what you're looking for out of the experiences. For me, they're going to be a 3.5 out of 5. Fun experiences to go through that are more a nod to the fandom than they are a satisfying blend of gameplay mechanics. As far as other game recommendations, well, check out the Lord of the Rings one if you want to check out that. And if you want another fun game that I do have reservations about, but overall I think was a good gameplay experience that also lends itself to that story mode aspect, definitely check out Isla and Something Shiny. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you found this helpful, and as always, I hope you have a good one.